Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is the join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that. Well, the Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, has been in the news the last 24 hours. She's dominated the news cycle for the last 24 hours. So let me just update you on what she's been in the news for. So if you remember earlier on, I think a week ago or so, when President Hakainde Hichilema was touring the courier centers, he made a pronouncement to say every volunteer that was volunteering in the courier centers was to be employed under government on permanent basis. So everyone that was, every health personnel that was volunteering in the health centers was to be rewarded with a government job, a permanent government job, which a lot of youths celebrated to say it was a good gesture coming from the president to say, I mean, they are not being paid or anything in that regard. The compensation from the volunteering wasn't anything to write home about. So for the president to consider them as a priority in terms of employment, they celebrated that. But then again, news started spreading online and everywhere else to say the individuals that were on the registers, the book logs were being changed. People were changing the names and putting their relatives. So this is what happened. So once Sylvia Masebo got wind of that particular news, she decided to visit the centers. But prior to that, so she decided to visit the centers. So this is what happened. Sylvia Masebo spends the night and fires supervisors at Courier Center for corruption. Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, spent the night at the Courier Center, attending to patients, and the cases that were recorded during the time that she was there was only 2 cases last night. The minister also took time to stamp out corruption following presidential directives that all volunteers should be employed permanently. Following the presidential directive, supervisors or at Heroes Courier Center, which was like the main courier center in Lusaka and nationwide, because this particular epidemic or pandemic of cholera just came in Lusaka mostly. The rest of the country, it was just partly. So Heroes Stadium Courier Center was like the hive of activity, or the HQ of this particular scheme, or yes. So permanently, and following the directives from the supervisors at Heroes Courier Center, replaced volunteers' names with their relatives, and which did not sit well with the minister, who requested the odd logs for the odd log books. When it was discovered that the supervisor had created a different logbook from the original one in order to disadvantage the volunteers, in preference for their relatives, the health minister fumed and instantly fired the supervisors and ordered that only the names in the old logbooks be considered for employment. So this is one thing. Peter in the comment section says Masebo sometimes proves very relevant. Very relevant on this one. Well done. Let the deserving volunteers be employed. So pretty much everyone was applauding and stuff like that. And you can even imagine this was posted on the Patriotic front page, but now they've deleted it because they noticed that people were celebrating the actions of the minister. But yeah, you can tell everyone that had advocated for this was in celebration. And even difficult Thomas Palo, commonly known as the Comboni president, he contested for the Mnadi constituency seat. It seems like he's going to contest again. He was also like, at least Banamvera, thanks to Honorable Masebo Apawalasa, they let only those that volunteered get jobs. So people are just like, yay, let only people that work for it get the jobs. And yeah, so that's what has happened. She's fired the people that were changing the books, and we wait and see if the right volunteers will be employed. But in other news, she also responded to this. She's been busy the last 24 hours. Do not advise us about power. We know power, and these offices don't make us. We make these offices by Sylvia Masebo. If you remember, like a day ago, the former president Edgar Lungu issued a statement towards President Hakainde Hichilema and the ministers or anyone that is in the current government, saying power is temporal, don't misuse it and stuff like that. I even say that in as much as the former president is issuing the right advice, or the fact that it's coming from him, it will not be well received unless another source. And this is what has happened. She's responded to say, do not give us any advice on that. We already know that, because if you remember, Sylvia, so this isn't the first rodeo. She's been, I think, Minister of Health, been doing the MMD government. So she was like, yo, we know these offices. These are not your offices. So you have no place to advise us. In short, they've just rejected any advice coming from Edgar Lungu and his camp, and that's a response. But in other news, it's what's dominating the cycle is this firing of these supervisors that were changing names. And Shimbakambwi evacuated today, right now, at the VIP departure round. This was reported by the UPND. So right now is in South Africa. He's been taken there. And then Shifetayali also responded to that. He posted the UPND caption, and he says, if this is true, then we thank God that President Hakainde, and President Hakainde Hichilema, I'm genuinely happy and pray for Bakambwili. We are human beings. We should forgive each other and move on, says Sylvia Tayari. So this news has been confirmed by the Patriotic Front and everyone that is around their circles to say yes, Shimbagambwe has finally been evacuated to South Africa in a very critical condition. We hope he recovers. But people responded on this particular post to say, let me read you the response. So Kennedy says, what can only heal Mr. Shimbakambuli is simple. Is simply to hear that his charges have been dropped by the president. Anything else will not do anything, because as long as he continues to worry about those cases, his disease will resume. Because if you know, and then people say laugh at it, they say, if you know what Shimbakambu is suffering from, yes, he's got diabetes, but predominantly it's the high blood pressure, the pressure that is coming from, and that usually stems from overthinking and being worried. So this individual says, in as much as he can evacuate Shimbakambu to any health center, as long as he's thinking about the cases that he has in court, in court and everywhere else, that situation will not change. So only President Hakainde Hichilema can help in that regard by discharging his criminal offenses or forgiving him in that nature. But I doubt that will happen. But yeah, so that's the view with regard to Shimbakambwili. And then Naramit also gave a view to say government has evacuated Mr. Shimbakambwili to South Africa for medical treatment. Kind of curious about the medical facility attended to this critical condition while he was at war in Zimbabwe. So if you remember, and then someone also responded, I'm puzzled by government's persistence to evacuating him, to which he responded to say government has to look good in this picture, and which is true. Because if Chimba was to die in Zambia or Zimbabwe, it would have changed the ballgame. So it's better they just take him to a medical facility that is purported to be of high class. And if anything happens in that case, the government will simply say, we did our part. And He only delayed it by the fact that he had gone to Zimbabwe. If he had gone earlier on, then the situation would have been rectified. So what the UPND government has done right now, they've moved this ball from their court to say, hey, we've done our part. We've evacuated him, taken him to the facility. In as much as he preferred to go to the UK, but the medical facility in South Africa is able to attend to him. So at this point, what Laura said, the government was simply passing on the ball to say it's no longer in our hands. We've done our part, and they want to look good. And she was just curious to say, when he was in Zimbabwe, because there is no medical facility that is better than Zambia compared to Zimbabwe. So she was like, which facility was he being attended to those couple of days? I think he was in Zimbabwe for 5 days or a week or something like that. So during that period, she asked to say, who was attending to him? Was there a better facility in that country? And then just people laugh at it to say, I'm puzzled why the government is persisting on evacuating him. It's just a way of cleaning their hands off his case in case anything happens. At this point, the President Hakainde at the UPN will just say, hey, we did our part, we evacuated him, and anything else is not in our court. And President Lungu persists with a political alliance that they formed. So I'll read you news in that regard. In as much as we've heard the response from Masebo to say he's not in the place to advise President Hakainde or the UPND, but they persisted. So they formed what they call United Kwacha Alliance, UKA. So they call it. So that alliance, this is the second press briefing that they had about a couple of hours ago. And they've been having these, like, the second press briefing a week. People will be fatigued with them speaking, I assume. And then and then someone in the comment section, this was posted on the Patriotic Front, says, I can assure you, politicians are not the solution to the problem we have, the problems we have in Zambia, but they are the problems we have in the country. And then someone says, you are absolutely right. So them forming this particular alliance is not a solution, says Emmanuel in that comment, which Kenneth Piri agrees to say they are actually the problem. Politicians are actually the problem, not the solution to this. So that's what they are calling the alliance, OKA, United Kwacha Alliance. And these are their signatures. So the people that were supposed to attend this particular press briefing, the one that they held yesterday, the earlier one was held like a week ago, or 5 days ago. This is the second one in this period that they held. So it was supposed to be Citizen First President Harry Kalaba who was absent. Christians Democratic Party, which is Dan Pure, he was present. Forum for Democracy and Development, FDD, which is Edith Nawakwi, she was absent. Golden Party President, he was present, which is Jackson Slavwe, he was present. National Democratic Congress, which is NDC, Saboy Imboira, she was present. And New Heritage Party President, Tshala Kateka, she was present. And then Edgar Chagwa Lungu for the Patriotic Front, he was present and signed that. And then United Liberation Party, which is Sequiva Skota, he was also present. So people are just laughing at this news to say Harry Kalaba has shunned this particular press brief, and Sean Tembo and a number of people. But Harry Kalaba immediately posted to say he's part of the alliance. It's just that he's doing campaigns. There's some by-elections happening in either Luapula or on the northern circuit. So that's where he's campaigning. And Fred Membehim does not even want to associate with this. Same thing with KBF. Those are the people that have come public to say they don't want to be associated with this because it's not going anywhere. They're just going around circle. As long as they do not pick who's the head of this particular alliance, it's just a waste of time, they assume. Obviously, you expected. Simon Len TV responded to this to say, Ukwabula plan, Ubufi Alliance. So just mocking the Uka Alliance that they formed, saying, Ukwabula plan. So it's obvious in the people's eyes, and people cannot believe an alliance if you cannot address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is who's the head of that. As long as they keep on dilly-dallying, saying, we'll sort it out eventually, the people don't want to associate with something that is just going to break at the final hour when it's time to decide, because you're failing to address the real issue. Obviously, people did not receive it well when Simon Mwewa posted this on his page. Someone says, you are now failing to sleep, Mwewa Munguru. So, and then he says, what is wrong with me commenting on national, on country affairs? He simply responds to that, is there anything wrong for me to say something about that? But obviously, the ambassador to Australia, Elias Munsha, also commented on the United Corruption Alliance, just laughing at the same alliance. Obviously, people, Martin Mwewa says, Martin Mwana says, Mwanamfum says, Abanabo, kwati nobufontini omobwaba, simply saying, I think it's just behind this, Bufontin is like being slow or something. So he says, Abanabo, kwati nobufontini omobwaba. How I wish diplomats were serving just like teachers, that whoever assumes power, there is continuity, and like this putting of people in offices who act like Chinese. So if the way this particular ambassador is acting is not different from what was doing. Ideally, there have been rumors circulating say eventually he wants to run for president of Zambia, obviously, probably after President Hakainde Hichilema does his term, and then he wants to run. But the only way you can build your political landscape is that you have to be on the ground. They usually say the easiest way to kill someone's political career is sending them in a diplomatic corps outside the country, because you lose touch with what's happening on the ground. You lose touch with the political landscape in the country. Yes, you might assume that you are in touch with what's happening in Zambia online and stuff like that. It's different when you are on the ground. So that's why he's been doing a back and forth mostly. Like he's mostly in the country. He does a lot of visits back and forth between Australia and Zambia. Obviously, you can see where his ambition is. He would have preferred to even be something in the executive of the UPND, like a central committee, where he's actively on the ground so that he can build his own political mileage and contest a seat. And it seems like he wants to contest in Masaiti or somewhere on the Copper Belt. And that's why he's been doing the back and forth. So that's why you see him issuing a lot of political statements, in as much as it's alleged to say diplomats and civil servants are not supposed to be political, in as much as they're political appointees, they're supposed to be neutral in this case. But you can see he jabs at the opposition here and there and engages in these political debates, which only shows where his passion is. It's like the way you could tell when Chera Tukuta was a diplomat, where he wanted to be associated with celebrities and wanted to treat the president's office like a celebrity office and announcing where the president is going, which is not allowed. It's the same situation with Elias Musha. In reality, he wants to be on the political landscape, active politics, not in the backdrop as a diplomat, based on the moves that he's making. So this was just DJ Kandeka and Yomaps when they played the Ketesiko when Yomaps was performing in Australia earlier on this year. What is Tukuta has continued after being recorded now is he seems to be thriving in the area that he wanted to be at. So Chera Tukuta's house is beautiful, but without kids around, Chimona no, meanwhile Chera Tukuta today. So if you know, in recent past, Chera Tukuta has been making news to say that he built a new house after being recalled back into the country. And he's been just doing a lot of internet trolling, where you'd say, today I'm sleeping on the table, today I'm sleeping on the door, today I'm sleeping on switches, just to my funny things to say that, no, even if you're eating vegetables in your own house, it's a different case. So people are just laughing at him to say he's a lonely guy, he doesn't even have his kids with him, so he decided to take these pictures today to say, I'm spending time with my kids. And then he went on to say, he posted this 40 kwacha for this. Wow, indeed. Tulenya to the lapira. I went to the company to buy our shoe and my brothers and sisters. Naikosa. So what he's holding in his hands there is some sachets of Carpenter, saying that is worth 40 kwacha to to depict the devaluing of our culture and the cost of living expenses at the moment. So he wants to align with the, is it the opposition or the people, as he calls it, to say is the people's spokesperson or something, by depicting that. You don't know what's going on with Chela Tukuta. But yeah, so he put that up on his page. I think it's still up. He did not delete it. What he's looking for is just engagement somehow. So these are some of the pictures that were coming from. Those are his kids that he posted in his house earlier on. But in other news, Yomap's child Tendai, the child that he has with Kidist, turns 3. So she posted this. Time flies. The young lady is 3 years this year, turns 3 this year. So that's Kidist's post. Then again, she also went further to say, I think God isn't considering the economy when he speaks to me, and then she laughs it out. It has been placed heavy on my heart this morning to be the vessel to bless someone, obviously. And then she says, "This always happens after a nightmare, and then I am off balance all day." So she just went about blessing people, giving them a couple of things and stuff, and obviously other people chipped in to say they also want to, if there's someone looking for jobs, yeah, there's just activity of people helping each other out on her page after she posted that, because she had earlier even made this statement to say a number of people failing to meet the average cost of living in my inbox is alarming. I wish you could all be assisted, but it is not possible. May God meet you at a point of need. So when she posted that, where she wanted to help a number of people, obviously people went in her inbox explaining their situation and everything. And then she just says, "It's not possible for me to help everyone." And she just said, "God will have to come through for you." And then other people chipped in and stuff like that. Overall, Kidis is a good person. Like, it's just that one of those things where people have just decided to hate her. I don't know if it's more beneficial to dislike her and stuff like that. While is Kandeke, Yomop's manager has lost his mother-in-law, so he posted this. He says, "Dear mom, just Jester, my mother-in-law and grandmother to my children, I am speechless and I am still in denial for the news that I have received. Anyway, only God knows. Go well, mom. R.I.P." So Kandeke has lost his mother-in-law. The lady you see in black there standing to his wife. This was during their wedding. So he simply said R.I.P. I think she died while he's still in Australia. He was out of the country, and he simply posted that message. And people still going back and forth with regard to Yomops and Kiddies to say they're very playful, they enjoy each other's company. But one thing that trended and made people start laughing mostly was this video that was done by Rachel Butter. So I'll play you the video. It's quite fun. You have to look at it and judge for yourself. So pretty much was saying the way a kid is comfortable around your maps is the way ideally a marriage is supposed to be, where they are still friends, they can play around. And then she simply posted the same picture. Say, "Okay, I suffer on this blow up," meaning Facebook. Auntie Rachel has cracked my ribs this morning. And then obviously people just laugh at the same video that was posted. Let me let you guys have a look at the video. So the first video that I'll play you guys is them. I think this is when Yomaps was just returning from Australia, and then Kiddies went to receive him at the airport, and then obviously she was just jumping around, just being playful, obviously. And then Rachel was like, "The way Kiddies is comfortable around Yomaps, that's the ideal of marriage." Let me play you the first video. So this is them at the airport when Yoma just returned, and then you can see kiddies jumping around those step signs, and then Kandeke is ahead of her there. And then Rachel had this to say about this.
Ngafuna kunia chishuku kidis amani ajabe amani achishuku kidis na yoma pali pamene paja mpui na bebe wa yoma Tell you what Kidist has found. A friend. Ngafuna kunya chishuku Kidist. Amani ajabe. Amani chishuku Kidist na yoma bali bamne bajampui. Na bebe ba yoma Tell you what Kidist has found. A friend. Ngafuna kunya chishuku Kidist. Amani ajabe. Amani chishuku Kidist na yoma bali bamne bajampui. Na bebe ba yoma
So that's a video she was referring to say no. Rachel Bota has cracked me up to say what she said. How comfortable I am around my husband, and that's the video. But overall, if you know Rachel Bota, this is a very talented young lady. Like she's very talented musically. There was a time people were questioning to say, why is it that she now adopts a Nigerian accent to say, why is she sound Nigerian? But then again, she had disowned the country to say the way she had been abused in the music industry. People had taken advantage of her. That's Rachel, not Kidis, the lady that was commenting on that particular lady in the video there that you see on screen. She was comparing to say she had done a number of songs for people, features, hit songs. Like she's done a lot of backing vocals, beautiful songs. But because she says the way she looks, people don't feel like she's the person they can support. And Zambians abused her in various ways, so she vents a lot there on her TikTok. And yeah, she disowned the country to say I'm no longer Zambian, and she identifies as a Nigerian or something like that. So she's got a Nigerian accent, but obviously the biggest audience that she still has is still Zambian, as you can tell from the videos that come up every now and then. But she's a very talented lady, like extremely talented musically. There are very few people that would even come close to Rachel. What is Mr. Mwewa, Simon Mwalen, seems to be going back and forth with this particular individual. So he posted, which was Chileko Amambo. He says, beware, do not invest any of your money in Mr. Chileko Amambo's ventures. They are all scams and Ponzi schemes. He borrows from Paul and pays Peter. So he said back and forth with this particular individual to say all the ventures that this individual you see on screen runs are Ponzi schemes. So obviously, when Mwewa's got the platforms, I mean, these platforms are quite big. So when he posted this individual was compelled to do a live stream with, Reverend Water, explaining his side of the story. But Mwewa did not step down. He went further. So he says, after he posted that particular post about this individual, Simon Mwewa, he says, Chileko Mwambwe called me yesterday and asked for an interview. He wanted to tell his side of the story. That's Mr. Mwewa explaining. I said he was welcome to pass through my little studio at Simon Mwewa then on condition that the interview be live. He did not like the idea. He said, Mwewa, am I safe if we do a live interview? I said, why wouldn't you be safe? He said, I do not want to be ambushed. It did not make sense to me. I assured him that he would be safe, and he insisted that we pre-record the interview and that it should be posted. I post the interview after he leaves. We agreed to meet at 10 hours today. Right now it's 10:37 a.m. and he has not come. You have been warned. So after he shunned the interview that he has scheduled, where he wanted his Chileko Mambwe to come and explain himself, and then now Mr. Moa just went off. Like now he went all in. So now he said receiving obviously people from his. He says this particular post that he's put up is from his inbox. People from his inbox were saying Chileko Mambwe is mining scam from the victims, says Mr. Moa. His gold mining scam started in 2021 when he noticed that people were becoming agitated because of the lack of progress in his cooking oil scheme. They began to opt out. Chileko single-handedly came on the WhatsApp group and said, all those who with shares in the oil will automatically have shares in the gold mining. But a few of us stood our ground and told Chileko that we are not interested. We just wanted our money back from the oil project. that we had invested in and was not bearing any fruit. At this time, I thought it was just the mining project, only to discover it was a 2021 scam. So he's been going back and forth to say this particular individual is a scam. Every project that he comes up with is just a way of scamming people. So that's Mr. Moore for you, going back and forth with that individual. In other news, a massacre from State House says, member a danger to the constitutionalism. The State House urges Zambians not to listen to Socialist Party leader Fred Member. So in recent past, Fred Member has been issuing a number of statements on a various number of issues, run, the way the country should be run. And then there's one statement where he issued that chiefs are supposed to be ministers, they're going to be ministers in his government. So that's what Hamasaka was responding to say, don't believe this individual is going to mess up our constitution. That headline that you see there. Kataneko was found guilty in 4 complaints, and then but they are cleared on Chatela allegations for receiving 500,000 bribe. 5,000 bribe. So those are some of the headlines. This is in a daily liberation. Other news headlines include, let me see. From State House to prison, Zumani narrates winning with Lungu, gassing allegations, and life in prison. So if you remember, Chris Zumani Zimba was arrested at some point on allegations that he was behind the gassing that the country had experienced, but he beat that case. He won the case, and he's been explaining his side of the story. And he says how your life changed right after State House, because he was aide to President Lungu. He went straight into prison, and the case that he had was not bailable, so he had to ride it out during the court hearing, which he won. And then it is not easy to get into. It's easy to get into government, but governance is not like running a mini-mart. This is about people's lives. Hamududu. So Hamududu has issued a statement after a long time to say, it's easy to get into government, but running it is a different case. It's not like running a mini-mart. That was published in the Mast newspaper. And then the UPND government says, we know where we are taking you. Tell us we have failed after 5 years. So simply saying, you guys are talking too early. It's not been 5 years. We have a 5-year mandate. So until it's 5 years, that's when you can say we failed. Anytime prior to that, we have not failed. So this is 3 years. So that's a statement coming from the UPND government. They have not failed until 2026. That's when their mandate ends, they say. My YouTube channel. Make sure you click on the subscribe button, you click on the notifications to get the notifications of every video that I upload. I try to upload every week, sometimes every day of the week, but definitely each week you expect a video. So make sure you click on the subscribe, like this video, and there's much more on the playlist. So visit the channel and see you around.